the midst of Dark versus Classic. It's all tied up 1-1. Classic taking that last game in 40 minutes and 13 seconds. A grindy game, but he finally found a win against Dark.
Yeah, it felt like he won the game long before, but he was just playing so cautiously and also so aggressively with his Warp Prism, just finding bases with his Air Army on one side of the map, Prisms getting the other base on the other side. Dark made those side defenses one time, but never remade them. And we're starting off on ground zero now as we head into Ascension to Ire. This is the map Dark wanted more than anything else, so this is his map pick, his highest priority map. He needs to take the momentum back here, I feel, in this series now after that crushing, long defeat there.
Yeah.
40 minutes of loss. Feels bad, man.
I love Dark on this map, man. When he goes for those big pushes on the outside bases, like we saw against Deer, he is just so unrelenting. We'll see if he can pull it off here, or will Classic finally stand up to Dark, jumping into game number 3. Here we are on Ascension to Ire. And up in the top left, this is our Protoss player, Classic.
And down to the bottom right is opponent Dark. Having a great early game defense against the Oracle play, then struggling, making 2 spores at each base, playing very defensively. And it looked like he was massively ahead. But as he continued to build spores and queens and play defensively, cut the Hydrogen, not pull out the Banelings, it was Classic who made the Fleet Beacon and caught up. So if you missed that last game, it was a pretty epic one. Well, that's the Spark Notes version.
Yeah.
So now, where are we ahead here in Game 3? I wonder if Dark will again put the ball in his court by opening with a Roach War and maybe playing some Swarm Host, something like that. Because he did do that in Game 1, but in Game 2 he played more passively, you know, as we saw him do against Deer.
Yeah, I like Hydra Ling Bane pushes on this map. As I was saying before, I think you definitely can pull them off at like a 5th base. That you're kind of locked up against the wall as the Protoss for quite a bit. The second you take that outside base, it's like, oh boy. You know, the bases up against the wall are kind of just like, they're far away from each other, essentially, but they're all in a line, so you can get a big cannon wall at your 4th and have your Mothership core back in your main, make a bunch of units in the middle, right? And you can just kind of keep vision out there and know. But the second you step outside of that, it's like, well, now you're treading on Zerg territory if they want to attack you.
That's when you go across and you meet the wildlings on the other side of the wall, man. It's certainly a very well said what you mention, and that's why that style is much stronger here. It's very likely why Dark wanted to play this map. And remember, too, that Dark popularized the Hydra Baneling style for using it in the Grand Finals against Stats. Stats might have his chance for revenge if Dark's able to take this series. We are going to see his Stargate opening again.
I don't think we're going to see him do anything else for his opening.
Yeah.
I think we're just going to see 7 potential games of Stargate first.
I agree.
He's not Deer. He's not going to like throw in a Dark Templar game, you know? That's like a 1 in 20 thing for Classic. It doesn't really happen.
And that's why this matchup feels so Dark favored in terms of a best of 7. Because Dark could theoretically play 7 different builds. Yeah. And his series against Deer, he played basically 4 different ones. Whereas Classic is so one-dimensional as a player overall. And when the game goes his way, when he gets to play the greedy defensive style like he did in Game 2, that's when he really shines. But when Dark throws wrenches into the gears, like the Roach attack in Game number 1 into the Swarm Host, Classic's very similar to Innovation in that regard, as he struggles to adapt, he struggles to play outside of his own play style. Okay, well, this is going to be a trade.
Good one for Classic. Couple of drones. Trading for that Adept early on is very nice. See, he was trying to Spore cancel, but couldn't. Not in time. He's going to need some Spores soon as the first Oracle makes its way on the map, and we have a Phoenix. Never mind. A Void Ray. It's like, oh yeah, nobody uses that other unit. Phoenix.
Maybe he plays Grid and he misclicked for a second. So the Void Ray coming out now, you know, is just the next standard follow-up to this sort of build. And no Spore ready here. Okay, we'll end up getting 3, more than this Oracle ever should get this early in the game. What's interesting about this is he killed the Overlord with a Stalker, which almost leads me to believe that that triggered Dark to think, well, you're really hiding something. You're really just going to do something else. When in fact, what he was hiding was that he was going to do what he had planned all along, which is to do the Oracle opening. However, now the Twilight Council has started early, and this is a variation. No additional Stargates. So first time we'll see this in this series.
I wonder what direction he'll take.
With no Robo, I don't think it's a DT drop. Certainly not now.
Well, we got Glaives on the way. Still no third base, as Dark has just checked right now. He's checking at the wrong location, though, because it's over near to the main. So Classic not going to go for that wall style I was talking about with his base. He's going to keep it in a box, all wrapped up nice and tightly.
He also drove the Zerling away before starting the hatchery. And look at this. He's even going to commit with only 2 Oracles. This Dark should realize what this means, though, because there should be 3 Oracles here if it was double Stargate and then soon to be 5 Oracles. He's trying to play mind games. He hit the third base for a little while, which you have to take a little bit later with the Oracle build. Now he's added it after the Ling was pushed away. Only seeing a few Oracles. He should start to realize, okay, this is definitely not going to be triple Stargate. It's not even double Stargate. And
Classic only has 44 probes. I just want to throw that out here. He hasn't made too many gateways, only 4. But, okay, now he's beginning his probe production.
Yeah.
Can still go up to 46. He actually canceled both of his probes.
Yep.
So that kind of tells you a little bit more about what direction he's heading. 2 more gateways on the way here.
Dark just has no way of scouting without an Overseer, and oh man, Glaives are going to finish right with this. This is such a good timing. He has the Oracles for extra DPS. Lings are going to really struggle, and it's all they've got. It's all he's got here. The Adepts are going to get into perfect position back here. Keeps the Oracles back until the Queens go down, and once the Queens start to disappear, run out of energy, he's going to bring the Oracles in here, and the Adepts are doing so much efficient damage with their attack speed upgrade. So many drones are going to die here in this game. Dark's desperately trying to get Lings out, but he types out GG, and Psychology is definitely on the side of Classic now. He hit that build so perfectly.
Wow. Driving
the Overlords out with the Void Ray with the Stalker, hiding it perfectly until the attack hit. Execution was perfect.
The timing of that GG, it tells you so much about what Dark is thinking. He knows he got bamboozled, right? He's like, that's it, you got me. Sorry, he had 60 drones when that attack hit. There's just no way you're going to make stuff. Even the what's it called? The stasis on the larva in the main, right? It's like, okay, well, you're just not going to have anything as this attack hits. And, well, he really did not have anything.
Yeah, he didn't have Hydras, he didn't have Banelings, which are kind of the tools you need to have with those Zerlings to hold the attack. Sure, Roaches can work, but he didn't have anything but Lings. And the Queens were already dying before the Lings arrived. So then the Oracles came in, and you have basically the fastest attack speed units in the game.
Yeah.
Probably, I think, like with the Depths and Oracles, like Lings couldn't die faster. Then you have those two fighting against them at the same time. So Lings just disappeared, and so did the chances of Dark winning that game. So well hidden by Classic was the build. He knew it too. He just marched across the map and won. Dark didn't have an Overseer, didn't have Overlord speed to check.
It's finally Classic breaking out of his shell, right? I mean, Dark, he had no information there, right? But it wasn't even like he waited for the Warp Prism and all the gates to follow up. He only had 4 gates at that time. He just slowly made Adepts with Glaives and then hit a timing that Dark had 0 clue was coming. It was Dark reading into Classic's play and Classic breaking out of it. It's something that Classic needs to do more of if he really wants to win this series. So very refreshing to see. Let's jump into game number 4 and see if Dark can come back here against Classic. Here we go, game number 4, as everything changes after game 3. Down on the bottom right, this is Classic.
Up to the top left, in purple is Dark. One of the strongest weapons of a Protoss is denial of information. The Stalker alone, I think, already kind of threw Dark's head for a spin, because he thought, okay, I'm not going to make spores. He made the spores so late and only one. It's like, this is just going to be a very normal opening until he saw the Stalker. He's like, okay, there's definitely not going to be a normal opening with the Oracle. Oracle comes in, and then he shows so many Oracles that he, again, believes this is to be the 2 Stargate Oracle play. Plays against it, gets his +1 for his Lings, does head down that same path, but never is able to scout again. His second Overlord's denied by that Void Ray. And I believe he actually did end up getting Overlord speed, but never got into the main base with one. And as you said, slowly on 4 gateways, Adepts were made instead of probes. And now Classic's throwing another game, or another mind game here, because he's going to fast expand to the gold base. That's why he has the gateway on the high ground of his main base. And this could, when Dark appears, because he's already clearly frustrated, right? When Dark appears, he goes, "You one-basing me for real?" Like, he's going to see the Cybercore and be like, "You one-basing me?" And then he might, if he doesn't check the gold base, he might tunnel vision on the feel of frustration of, okay, what is this, DTs? What is this? When in reality, it's just actually a fast gold base.
Yeah. This map, very much like Overgrowth, though, does lead players to say, okay, I mean, he doesn't have his natural. Let's go check the gold. It is a little bit farther away, I would have to say, on this map, like slightly farther than Overgrowth, but not as close to your opponent. It's kind of like off on its own little islands there.
Yeah.
But, again, the most important thing is that Dark needs to get this information.
And he isn't drone scouting, so getting that information is certainly going to come a lot later. And what Classic may potentially do is do like a 5-gateway Adept attack or something with the extra minerals this base is going to provide, while Dark is trying to freak out about what tech is in the main base. There might not be tech at all. The core is done. He's not adding any tech. Okay, will be a Robo, in fact. Channeling his inner parting maybe here.
I'm glad that everything we said about Classic is beginning to become false. You know, we said, okay, he's just going to play standard. Yeah. He's just going to play straight up, because that's obviously what Dark was expecting as well. And I said it before the game even started. This is what you have to do to win best of 7 series. You can't do the same build 7 games in a row.
Look at what Classic is doing. He's checking for Overlords. He's checking for Ling Scouts with his Adept. He recalled his probes instead of transferring them. So Dark is just now going to get in the main base and see kind of, okay, this seems to be a standard, but he doesn't fully know. There could be a Dark Shrine on the other side of the map. There could be Dark Shrine on the bottom left of his main base. The only vision he has is from the Overlord. And we're going to see Immortals come out of this right away. Oh, not even. It's a Bay. Okay. He's taking the biggest risk in the world, but if he takes this, man, and he wins this game, Dark's mentality, already frustrated, will be severely hurt, you have to imagine.
I guess it's Disruptors here.
Yeah.
The Warp Prism coming out can go for the Warp Prism speed right away as he makes Disruptors out of his bay, or rather out of his facility. That first Ling is going to come in there and scout the gold.
Okay, he finally sees it. He just made a wave of drones, and I don't think he has more than maybe 6 Lings on the map right now, so can't really attack this at this moment in time.
Baneling Nest comes down, and I think Dark will return to Ling Bane Hydra in this map. It's so good. It's a lot like Ascension to Ire, but this time you have low ground to the high ground of the gold, so if you can get that position, it's really fantastic.
It's going to be also a Colossus drop, oh my god.
Oh.
I didn't mean to cut you off.
I mean, no, I'm glad you did. This brings back nightmares, man. Casting stats on Bonnie Research Station.
I don't know if I've ever commentated a Colossus drop game winning, but this could be a first time.
PBC, too.
Yeah.
Stats was
Will
doing
he see it?
No, he's not going to see it, just barely. He turns around.
You know what he does see, though, is exactly what I was talking about. He's like, aha, you're going to use the extra minerals to do a gateway timing attack. I understand this. Spines coming up.
Lings and Banes.
Lings and Banes not going to be very effective. He will do a follow-up scout. This should see it. This should see it.
That is such a clever nook in the map to place your buildings, too. He's checking the upper right. He wants to go for a Baneling drop. This should scout it. But already the Colossus is in the drop. and he's only got Lings and Banes to deal with it.
He saw the Prism, but he's not sure what it is. Now he can actually micro up and down this little chin on the side of the base to actually harass the Lings that are not going to do very well against the Colossus. Drops our Scout.
Oh,
huge warpment of Zealots here. Zealots very good against this Ling composition, and he also has the AoE damage output of this Colossus. Banelings need to get in here and hit the Zealots. They do hit a few of them, but the micro is going to be real.
Yeah, the micro with this Warp Prism range is just so good. Good cleanup, and it looks like the Baneling drop did get 8 probes. He's got
the Bane!
Dark strikes back, says no. Get out of my game.
All right, you sound 18 workers. He has the gold base, but he needs to make this next attack worth its weight in gold and minerals, because this Spinecraw is even going to start to take some pot shots here. Does have Colossus range. The second Colossus looks to be walking across the map. Will he intercept it? Yes, he does. Dark is so smart. He knows this is coming. Okay, picks it up. He does save it here. The economy is in tatters. He's not even remaking probes. He needs to win with these 2 Colossi and everything else he can make from the pitiful economy he has. With the Warp Prism, he loses the Prism or these Colossi, this game is over.
Dark, he's only got Lings and Banes and Queens to deal with this as we speak, so he's going to have to micro his heart out some way, somehow, some way. He needs to get on top of that Warp Prism with his Queens. That would be the money shot, but...
Okay, here we go. Going to be another drop here. He's not paying attention.
No more mining for you, Classic. 7 more.
Okay, oh, now he was looking over there. Does micro one of his Colossi. Wanted to get the second one picked up. Very well done. The Queens here just targeting down the Colossi, but he does micro them back. Is this going to be enough? I don't think so. I think the Dark should eventually be able to hold this. Kiting back to the Spinecrawler here, keeping his Banelings alive.
It's rough. It's not 100%. You can keep those Colossi for life for basically forever against this composition if you're...
Oh, there goes one.
As I'm speaking, looks like that last Queen that just died took it out.
I think this is it.
With perfect micro, he might have been able to come back, but doesn't look like it. Only the Colossus lives now.
Micro can only get you so far when your base defense is weak and you have lost probes to Banelings. Had he just... Oh, this is really funny. Had he just simply, back at home, pulled his probes or used his Mothership Core, this would be a totally different game. He'd have way more units. He'd have more than just Zealots. Gonna have some force fields here to try to block the Queens out. A bit late on that one. Does get most of the Lings.
He's got some pressure here. That's 5 sentries.
But he has 11 workers.
Oh, the Colossus is so low. It's in the red. Only its shields will keep it alive.
I think that's going to be it.
come in and take out the Colossus. That's
GG.
it. GG. Dark ties it up. We're going to game number 5, all tied up. It will be essentially a best of 3 from here on out. Classic with the tricky builds, the quick moves, but Dark with the quick slapback or the clapback rather, and there you go. We are going to Overgrowth, and I said that everything has changed now after the Classic's build in Game 3, but now everything has really changed.
Yeah.
As he had a couple of prepared builds on maps that he wasn't as confident on. Remember, he picked the first 2 maps, Newkirk and Abyssal, and then we go into more of these other maps where Dark is picking them first. Dark picked Ascension to Ire, then he picked Odyssey. Those were the 2 maps Dark wanted to play on, and that's where we see the tricky builds. So now it's going into the maps that we don't see very often. Overgrowth, Frost, Whirlwind. These guys, I mean, I can read the stats off for you right now. Dark hasn't played a single game, or he's played 1 game on Whirlwind, none on Frost. And it looks like 3 on Overgrowth, whereas Classic, 3 on Overgrowth, 1 on Whirlwind, and 1 on Frost. These are the 3 maps that don't get played as much as the others.
Yeah.
And now really anything can happen.
Certainly anything can happen, man. Dark went for the Roach push on Whirlwind against Deer.
Yeah.
It worked out really well for him against the DT build. I mean, historically in SSL, the semifinals, back in the old SSL format, and the Gauntlet has always been better than the finals.
Yeah.
Always has been.
Yeah.
I mean, very rarely did the series not go to Game 7. Both of our Gauntlet series went to Game 7 last season.
Yeah.
Last time Dark defeated Classic in the semis, that went to Game 7. Beyond Classic went to Game 7 in the semifinals as well. I mean, it just does not disappoint here.
Yeah, so guys, we're going to take another quick break. When we come back, game number 5.